Dignitas, just taking a map or two would already mean a lot for the standings.
That it would. Now let's go ahead and focus on our matches that are coming your way as Granit Gaming and Fnatic speak about the match about to occur.
We feel like in the first week we struggled to perform like we did in practice and made a lot of unnecessary mistakes and had a lot of deaths in the early game that shouldn't happen. So this week we're focusing on just playing out our win condition, and as long as we do that we should have a better performance than in the first week. Fnatic has some of the most experienced players in their team and last hope. It will be a tough match for us, but I know that we can do better than what we showed in the first week. And if we get an advantage in draft and don't feed in the early game, we can maybe pull out a win.
The first week was kind of rough because of the loss, but I still felt like we were the stronger team versus Liquid in every team fight, and like whenever there was normal play and no macro shenanigans, you know, only out-rotating, I feel like we were really strong. So I guess improving macro and just, I guess, playing more standard, more normal things and just outplay our opponents in the game and not try to outdraft them. I think that's what we can improve mostly. I think definitely we should expect more flexibility or variety from this Fnatic than the old one. I love variety and I love trying out stuff in scrims, and it went a little bit too crazy this last weekend, but you should definitely expect variety in picks, yeah. I think Granit Gaming should be fairly easy for us. If we drop more than one map, I think we would all be very disappointed. But I mean, they're improving a lot as well, and the full German synergy could be good, but I think it should be fairly simple.
Shrimpy always willing to be brutally honest as he talks about not losing a map against Granit Gaming, but Granit Gaming is a team that you can't really let just kind of do their own thing. We've had moments where Darkmonk has really popped off for that roster, and I feel like Wolfjo in particular did play well last week, so it's all about keeping them constrained and making sure not to get too crazy like Shrimpy was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree, but at the same time, it's just honest from Shrimpy.
Yeah,
if you look at
exactly.
the match right now, he is absolutely correct. They are the favorite by a long shot, and with their ambitions of not only making it into the top 3 and securing a spot for the offline events, but also taking the top 1 spot from Dignitas, then in the long run, they have to take down Granit Gaming without embarrassing themselves here. And if they would lose more than a map can always happen. You can always fall into a weird spot, maybe lose an important team fight and get snowballed there. But if they would lose more than that, then that would be a massive problem for them and already indicate that they are going to have a much harder season than expected. So I can only echo what he said there.
Well, it is time to figure out which team will get their first win of the season as we head into the Battleground. Battleground 1, ready out of this best-of-5 series. We will be heading off to Dragonshire. Fnatic with the choice in terms of bans. Fnatic has made sure to get rid of Infernal, while we have had Granit get rid of Braxis.
And of course, this again echoes that now the shot calling, also the drafting for Fnatic has changed. We touched upon that a bit earlier in the last week's matches, because now that Quarkness is gone, he didn't really like Dragonshire from a draft and a rotation perspective. It's a bit different now with the lineup that Fnatic is running at this point. So Dragonshire is all of a sudden not a ban for them, but instead even a pick.
And Zells were the ones that actually banned Dragonshire last week, so that's something to consider, is that, you know, when you have your shot callers falling into different teams, sometimes map priority also switches up a lot for them. So going into Dragonshire here, expecting a lot of control, especially in that top lane, but I'm a little bit interested to see what we're going to get in that bottom lane here from Shrimpy in particular. Will we get more Tychus coming in? Will he dabble in Hammer once again, who was banned a lot last weekend?
For me, it's most of the priority of Urel. I don't think there's a doubt in anyone's mind that Urel is going to be seeing a lot of play this weekend. The question just is, where is she going to be prioritized? Are we going to see her at the end of the day, maybe even as an early ban? Is that a possibility? Is she going to make it past the second ban phase? So a lot of question around her. Outside of that, Hammer is still an option. We've seen it played a lot, actually. But also Fnatic has been leaning towards playing a lot around the globals again, so that's another thing that we could see here. I mean, it's not only the Haka, it's even Falstad making it really back into the meta here.
Minute showing that false stand last week, helping them with the boss steal on Sky Temple in particular. Granit Gaming instantly opens up with a Genji ban as well as a Tracer ban coming from Fnatic. These are both heroes that you mentioned on your Twitter, actually. Hashtag Caldor Stats.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier. Tracer is actually insanely oftentimes banned here. She has now like both of the heroes, Tracer and Genji, have been banned by far the most in HGC. We have on the side of Tracer, I think it was currently 15 bans, don't have the exact number in front of me, but she's banned in more than 60% of the games at this point. So Genji is a close second now. Hanzo also banned out quite a bit, but the interesting thing is outside of Tracer and Genji, the next ban, the third one, has only half the bans against them. So it's pretty insane how far ahead in bans Tracer and Genji are. It's just all that mobility that you want to get rid of immediately.
You mentioned globals. We also get a Murden coming in here as a pickup for Breeze to play. Murden has become one of our premier tanks here in the HGC. The ability to force down ganks, but also sustain a lot of these blow-up compositions has been a wonderful addition for a lot of teams. Also, something in particular that kind of noticed this week in my own gameplay, Murden is very good against the Phoenix, which is pretty high in priority for a lot of teams because you're able to drop to that Storm Bolt, and if you can catch him in the middle of the animation, he can't teleport away.
The interesting part about that is there's like two aspects to it now, because first of all, when we're talking about Murden is gaining a lot in popularity, but even more so in Dragonshire. Already in the first part of 2018, we've seen Murden prioritized there a bit more, but now Murden is like such an early pick. Dignitas, for example, in the first rotation on Dragonshire also picked Murden. And you're mentioning Phoenix, and not only do we have Phoenix immediately being picked up, but Phoenix is currently also by far the strongest assassin that we see in HGC Europe. Phoenix is currently sitting at an 80% win ratio, 8 wins and 2 losses, which is so far ahead from everyone else.
And that's part of it because he's being able to pick up after the top laner's picked up. If you see a melee on the opposing team, Phoenix does so well against any melee. Sonya, Dahaka, Ragnaros, the ability to trade out those shields and not get into a position where that melee can get up and attack you allows for you to really bully out your lane. So Phoenix just does great up there.
Yeah, but to be fair, we haven't really seen Phoenix up there.
That's true.
Like, he does well in that spot when he's put into that position, and he's flexible in the sense that you can rotate him up, and we talk about why that is quite a bit. But at the same time, we haven't really seen Phoenix in that spot a lot in Europe.
I feel like we're going to see him here in this setup, at least, with Hanzo. I mean, we could have maybe a Blaze come from the top lane, but we'll see here. Most of the time, he's also been paired with Thrall, even Diablo, this Lightning Breath and
slows,
the Salvo. Any type of slow to set that up allows for you to get 4 to 5 members and make sure they can't retreat, chase them down, and then kill them off. Now, Anub'arak gets banned out there as well, as we'll be keeping those off of Dragonshire.
Anub'arak has definitely seen a bit of a resurgence as well. We had him in the first half of 2018, played mostly by Fnatic and with great success. They really were playing a lot around wombo combos with the Stukov and Anub'arak trying to dive in deep with 2-3 heroes. Stukov setting the lurking arm up and getting that in there. But now Anub'arak is played by a lot of other teams too. Monkeys, for example, played Anub'arak against the Zealots 3 times, and they won all of those games. And by now we have also the globals again. I said it before, prioritized by Fnatic, going for a double global even, going for false set after they already picked Dahaka a bit earlier for last home.
And that is a terrifying pickup if you were in that top lane. Having Dahaka, Murden come in, look for that gank false set to follow it up from across the map, allows for early kills to happen, but also the late game. Great for Fnatic. In the mid game, I'm going to feel like Granit Gaming is going to need to group up and find a couple of kills and get momentum here, or it could be difficult for them heading into that late game.
I would really like to see Blaze now at least taken for Granit Gaming for the top lane. That would definitely help them. He has a lot more survivability and self-sustain, so even when those global ganks are coming his way, he still has a chance to get away, especially after level 10 when he can also drop the bunker and just buy himself a bit more time for a rotation to come and help him out.
Sure.
As a main tank, we still have a few options here. You could head into Johanna if you're worried about your wave clear and you're trying to just rotate that quickly. We have Johanna and we see Urel over Blaze now.
First game, Urel comes in. A lot of survivability, the ability to kind of jump around between that shrine and really be a nuisance for Dahaka to chase down. Watch as Urel tries to handle that top lane.
I mean, she has a survivability. She doesn't offer as much as Blaze when it comes to the team fight, but she has a lot of tools that still give her a lot of value within a team fight. I mean, the heal is just one of them, displacement as well. And of course, on this map, as we heard from Ethereal in the interview last week, it's just so difficult to get her off the spot and win a shrine against her, especially since she just can't jump onto the objective from the lane. And that helps her a lot by just not losing experience, for example.
And her damage now, too, is slightly decent, actually, being buffed up on the Avenging Wrath. If you're able to get that AoE on minion waves and trade that out with your Divine Purpose, typically you're able to push out your lane. So we'll see how Dahaka handles that. Should be able to clear up, but definitely something that we will consider watching throughout this matchup. Now, for final pickup coming in here, for Fnatic, looking like they need a little bit more damage.
Mage.
Mage,
right
you
away.
pick here.
Li Ming, Jaina, Gul'dan, all three come to mind here, and we have a Li Ming going for the resets in this case. So Mena always wants to play the mage. He feels like on a mage hero he has the most impact, and when they were playing him on Tacita, he still in the past has set up fantastic walls, for example, but it's just not something that he wants to play. He feels he has more of an impact on how the team fights and if he can go in for mage. And actually, the results last week reflected that. When they played at Jaina, Mena was able to get so many kills there on Tomb. So that's something that he really loves to do. And so it's not a surprise that Fnatic is pushing him again into that direction.
Especially with Mene really enjoying Li Ming. It's been the flavor that he's been going to since the MSB. He's looking for that punishment. He enjoys seeing, hey, Hondo has overstepped. I'm going for an all-in combo here. And typically, he finds those kills every single time. So watch for Mene and Li Ming. It's always a delight to watch. And it kind of shows why Li Ming is back in the meta here.
Yeah, definitely. And also, if you just tune in, if you missed last week's matches, again, we have on Fnatic's side now Last Hope, the new player, has no comparative experience, so he's fairly new. He made it through tryouts into Fnatic, Grandmaster player in Europe and the side laner for them now. And he played extremely well with the team, so it looked very seamless of what they showcased in their first week of HGC matches. So if that trend continues, then I think he's going to be a very, very good fit for them.
Well, let's go to game number 1 here and see how he will play on that Dahaka. As we head into it, Fnatic taking on Granit Gaming, a Dragonshire best-of-5 series coming at you.
Game number 1, and over to the left side of the map, we have Fnatic. The team starting with Mena on Li Ming on the mage, of course, whereas Breeze finds himself on Muradin up at that front line looking for the Stormbolts against Phoenix in particular. Schwimpy on Thorstead, Last Hope on Dehaka, and Smexy on Deckard Cain.
On the right side, in the red, Raid Boss on Johanna, Wolf Joe on Malfurion, Memecraft on Hanzo, Darkmok on Urel, and Nande to play Phoenix.
Going for the Team Liquid sprays here. Now keep in mind, Fnatic just lost to Team Liquid last week. So it was a very close series, but at the end of the day, Team Liquid was able to get the 3-0 victory over their opponent.
Breeze stepping forward, being met with a Moonfire right away. Granit Gaming wanting to send Urel straight to the top lane. She did come down in case she needs to force out a fight.
We're going to keep an eye on Urel's build for sure, but right now it still is pretty much the same of what we've seen so far. Mara's insight has been taken on level 1. It's all about the sustain on that solo lane that you're really concerned about the most. When you're talking about potential solo laners, you're talking about self-sustain, you want to have a lot of wave clear on your side, and of course survivability for gank, like mobility in the sense of dodging ganks that come your way would also be a great asset for any solo laner that exists.
I am curious to see what level 7 Darkmok will pick up. It really feels like the Divine Steed is the way to go on Urel. Just having that ability to hop around in a fight and then instantly mount, it really allows for you to escape, find a way to get onto the back line if you need to. Just the mobility she brings to the field is something that's very instrumental.
It's also pretty fantastic if you ever find yourself in a position where you need to soak 2 lanes instead of 1, because you can just traverse easier between one lane and the other, and then they get the lane soak there. So that's definitely something to watch out for. There's certain maps where you can make good arguments of deviating away from the talent, but in general I would absolutely agree with you. It offers you so much versatility.
Giant camps being grabbed for both of our teams as they seem to trade them out. Schwimpy grabbed in the bottom left, while on the bottom right, Granit Gaming begins to work on their own. Now, Hanzo can hold this bottom lane for a while here, especially post level 4, whenever he gets that explosive arrow or even the scatter arrow to clear it out. So we'll see if Granit Gaming gets a little bit more aggressive on the field, as right now we've been watching Muradin, who's been trying to be in here with tandem with Falset and make sure they clear out those waves.
Yeah, Muradin is also doing extremely well in Europe, and you've been touching upon that during the draft, and he's currently sitting at 11 wins and 5 losses. So he's actually the most successful tank that we currently have in the game, considering the amount of games or amount of play he has seen in general. And he's just doing fantastic. It's just the survivability and all the self-sustain that he has. And while we're talking about Muradin, let's also take a quick look at the level 1 talent here, where we have, once again, 3rd win taken. A lot of the Muradin players, especially when we're looking towards Korea, but also within Europe, have now started to go straight into Perfect Storm for the extra burst damage. Talking about damage, Urel is eating a lot of that right now.
As she is, and she used her Avenging Wrath at the top left, and Fnatic instantly pounced on top of her, and if she doesn't have that time to get that Avenging Wrath, that 6 seconds, you will see her fall quickly. Fnatic able to use those globals to their advantage, and Muradin as well, and they look to grab a dragon.
Yeah, that didn't really work out too well for Urel up at the top line. Top lane, even the entire sustain that she has was completely irrelevant.
Good job.
I know, right?
Are you happy that you got that worked in?
I got that out of my system.
It's out of your system, you're good?
it was a horrible one, but like I had to drop it at least once. Now it's out of the system. I'm good.
It's a good one, though. I will have to give you that.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, it was a little bit sad that last week she was a bit irrelevant, but now that she got the buff, it's a lot better.
You can't use it twice. If you use it twice, that's when you physically hurt people inside.
It's like you make it more cringy. It's awesome.
Like, please stop saying that. Ages of Light comes online for level 4 here, giving allied heroes 35 armor for 5 seconds.
It's so amazing in team fights and later on. It's like she is fantastic in that spot. But so far, Fnatic with the first kill of the game, but you can really see how Granit Gaming sets up this push at the top lane around the spell aura. I'm really liking that. And they're even rotating Johanna now top. So Fnatic is trying to counter that with a double global that they have here, but they're still losing the wall. And now Raid Boss is going in deep, and Shrimpy is the target. Nice interrupt also as he tries to barrel away. He still gets the shield, but Raid Boss is closing in and very likely to get the kill, and there we have it.
It's a kill. The rest of Fnatic are rotating in. Here's Breeze and Last Hope. Johanna trying to get the condemn, pull them forward. Yrel wants to come over and help, can probably knock them away. There it is. And Granit Gaming find a kill on Shrimpy and retreat away from the fight.
It was a bit of a weird spot for Shrimpy. He kind of needed to get away there, but then he was interrupted as he tried to barrel roll by Yrel, and that was a really bad spot for him to be in. He still received the shield, but it was just not enough to stop Johanna from taking him down. So good kill for Granit Gaming. Heavy interrupt. Now Phoenix is in trouble though. Nande got licked there, but they just don't have the damage as Li Ming is not with them. Li Ming was continuously down at the bot lane holding the spot, and now there's a transition as Smexy has taken over, which allowed Mena to rotate into the mid lane so that he has an easier time to rotate top if he is needed there. But Fnatic just didn't have the damage output they needed for this.
The aggression does not stop. Fnatic finds a kill on the bottom lane with Li Ming picking off Hanzo with the help of Smexy. Granit Gaming continuing to try to fight in this top left corner, but Fnatic seems to be done with it. They've backed up and started working on clearing these lanes instead, as they're working on that season marksman. Now Johanna in the middle might be in trouble. Triangle comes out, trying to lock him down. It actually does connect. Bree steps forwards, going for the body block, even taking the towers. Can they take out Raid Boss? He's low, he goes for a blind, but there it is.
Yeah, Breeze is absolutely body blocking Johanna into oblivion here. No way for her to get past that gate. So really well done by Fnatic. They had Shrimpy as the main damage dealer in this case, and they did do really well to make sure that he got enough auto attacks in. Now Fnatic with a tiny lead on experience, 9.5 against a level 8. Granit Gaming closing in on level 9 themselves. We have Divine Steed on level 7, by the way, as we talked about earlier. But that level 10 could actually give Fnatic a Dragonite if they use that small time window that they'll accumulate in a second wisely.
You've already seen the appeal of going for the Divine Steed as Dark Mog rotates from top to middle before Dahaka even clears it up. You kind of alluded to that earlier. They haven't found an opportunity to get a pick yet, though. Shrimpy and Muradin playing very safe, hugging that triangle in the bottom south. Dark Mog goes in for an avenging route. He goes for Last Hope, who actually misses the tongue. So Last Hope will have to start backing up. However, Falset is thinking about coming in here and forcing a fight.
Yeah, that's the power of the double global here. Nice dodge on the mini leap that we had there, but now we have Nanda moving in too. And even Raid Boss is thinking about rotating over. Breeze with the channel attempt, but Yrel took over the top shrine. But you can see the theory behind the double global. First of all, you have Dahaka at the top lane. So whenever there's a fight at the bottom of the map, he can move in and help out. He can quickly global in. But also Falset can now set up these ganks towards the top and help out there. So you have a lot of mobility that first of all ensures that you're not losing out on experience, but also that you can either set up ganks or help an ally that is being ganked upon. But in this case, didn't quite work out for Fnatic as they wanted to. Shrimpy had to barrel roll away, couldn't hold the shrine. But at least the idea is there. And the more the map opens up, the more important that aspect is going to become.
Speaking of the map opening up, that bottom lane we haven't looked at too much. Being able to get the Giants and Mana and crew has been able to clear that out. And that port is now exposed and willing to be picked off if a dragon does head over to Fnatic. But so far, Granit Gaming continues to hold on well. Nande starting to grab the from the bottom. Shrimpy comes out, tries to grab the dragon, actually eats a blessed shield. So heroic down there for Johanna.
Granit Gaming is doing fairly well controlling the objective, or at least making sure that Fnatic cannot hold it for too long. So they're doing well with the rotations, but Fnatic is always threatening to grab the Dragonite, so they need to be careful here. Another kill is all that Fnatic needs for now, but Granit Gaming is definitely pushing back here.
I do feel like they're holding their own, but I feel like they're slowly bleeding out, if that makes sense, with them using pokes here and there, losing a turret, a little bit on the gate, Fort taking a little bit of damage. Something needs to happen for them soon, especially with that double global that we talked about coming online in that late game. Dark Monk at the top right corner, popping his heroic, making sure to get a little bit of armor there as Last Hope and Shrimpy try to bully him out.
Yeah, using the Sacred Ground in this case, I mean, the cooldown is really low. You're on 40 seconds, so that's not really a problem for you. But now we have still that issue that you've been talking about a little bit, that it feels that Granit Gaming is slowly losing ground. And I would agree with that. But the thing is, if Granit Gaming just gets one kill, then a similar situation as Fnatic. A single kill at this point would more or less guarantee a Dragonite if you play your cards right. So Fnatic has to be careful here as well.
Muradin on the bottom right, lurking, waiting for someone from Granit Gaming to overstep so he can go for Memecraft in particular. But Memecraft stays mount up, waiting for Muradin to show before he demounts. Fnatic actually fighting Rayboss here on the corner while Shibby comes in from the side. He has that Mighty Gust. A bit of a whiff as he actually arrowed as well, and he's actually dead.
Yeah, that was a massive int.
That was...
But they're not done yet. Raid Boss needs to be careful still. He already dropped a lot here. But yeah, the situation that we saw there, that was not... I actually don't know what the game plan was there 100%. Let's wait a second for that. Urel goes down at the top, and Last Hope can easily dodge the salvo. So Nanda a bit too trigger happy on his heroic. But I'm wondering a little bit what exactly Shui was trying to do there. Were they trying to just simply isolate Hanzo and he was a bit too far away? He probably shift queued the ult and didn't cancel it in time when Hanzo moved back instead of into the Gust.
At first glance, it felt like he was trying to actually push Malfurion into that little choke on the left side, but Malfurion was able to hug the wall well enough so he didn't get pushed in. Had he actually went into that corner, Muradin jumps over, they body block him and maybe get the kill.
I mean, it looked really like he shift queued his ult so that he flies in and immediately drops it, and then he couldn't cancel it in time and he realized that the Gust wouldn't really go his way. And then, of course, you're on that awkward spot that you don't push your opponent away from you, so they're super close, so they can simply move in and kill you.
But good on Memecraft to punish that maneuver, dropping the arrow right away, dropping the scatter arrow. Back to business for both of our teams, though, as we grab this Night Camp in the top right corner. Granit Gaming attempting to get a push moving forward, and they're getting close to actually breaking that fort in that top left corner with all the pressure they've had from both Anande and Urel from Darkmoth.
I'm liking the camp that is now being taken down here at the bot lane. So they use the opportunity that they have, but we still have the fort taken out at the top. So Granit Gaming is actually opening up that map. The one thing to consider, though, is that Fnatic is still had an experience, even though they already lost the fort, and they are now trying to reply in kind, go down to the bot lane and drop the fort of Granit Gaming, or at least bring it nearly to the point of destruction so that they can easily take it down later on. And that actually would really help them to also claim even more of a lead in experience.
Now the fort gets claimed, as you mentioned, but Last Hope is trying to grab this shrine to the top, so they'll have control over that, but they're going to need to back up and clear the Night Camp, which means Granit Gaming can make a play. They can try and force an issue on the bottom here, or even attempt to rotate the top and grab both these shrines, while Raid Boss holds the south, but Nande continuing to poke away. I'm waiting for that moment, though, where Memecraft lands at Dragon Zero, we get our root down, and Nande's able to bring in the salvo. That's the team I fight for, Granit Gaming, but so far, Fnatic just is not given the opportunity to pull off that combo.
The thing is, though, that Fnatic is looking, I don't want to say shaky, I don't think that's the right word here, but they are not looking as dominant as I would have expected them to be. I thought they would be more aggressive coming into the game, and one of the main things that I'm missing a little bit is Last Hope rotating in with the rest of the team. Now, that seems to be a deliberate decision that he's still stuck at the top lane with Falstad and that they're trying to run the global at the top to find value there. But considering the playstyle that he, in particular, showcased last week, I would have expected him to aggressively burrow down, force a fight, and then Falstad use his own global to move to the top lane and soak the experience before it gets missed, and we haven't really seen that yet. And that passive playstyle is something that surprises me a little bit given their composition.
It could be that Shomi just says, okay, hey guys, we're winning the bottom lane slowly but surely. We're slowly taking out that fort. Let's just leave Dahaka in the top lane. We are scaling. I mean, you have, of course, a Season Marksman, Giant Killer coming online, level 16 when Li Ming gets extra damage in due to a Mirror Ball. They'll be able to blow up targets. And maybe that's when we finally have them go for that aggressive play that you're looking for.
Yeah, I think it's going to come online eventually, and you are absolutely correct. We are in a situation where they are going to scale into the late game quite nicely, thanks to not only Muradin, who still waits to complete his quest, but also Falstad sitting at 33 stacks right now. So that's definitely going to become a factor eventually. And we mentioned already earlier in the game that the globals are also giving them a late game advantage once that the map starts to open up. It's just surprising to me. It feels like they are maybe overcompensating a bit for the macro problems that they had last week against Team Liquid.
Well, for now, Granit Gaming continues the tug of war of controlling the shrines, while Johanna is actually striking up in the top left corner. See if maybe they can get a pick on someone rotating out from this Night Camp. Darkmoth comes over, and they'll clear this out. Bottom lane, though, has some aggression. If Muradin jumps in to look for Hanzo, he's able to jump away, though. as he plays it safe. But this fort, it's under siege and should eventually fall.
And talking about mirrored and being aggressive here, that's also mirrored with Dwarf Launch now taken on level 16 over Stone Skin. So you're not so much worried about your opponent bursting you down, it's more so you trying to create opportunities for your team for a kill, and that's what he's doing here.
That is such a wonderful diamond pickup. You go from hopping to straight launching over skyscrapers, being able to force the fight where you want. And also gives you a decent escape too. Pretty decent cooldown. Big play on the bottom though. Falstad leaving Muradin, Dahaka, clearing out the wave. Breeze checking the bushes, making for the rotation. As Shwimpy's trying to put a little bit of damage here on these turrets.
You can really tell that now that the first forts are gone on the map, the globals are all of a sudden starting to gain even more value. Great shot by Memecraft.
Oh, they're forcing, look.
Very well done. Shwimpy is in an awkward spot. Arrow comes through. Breeze eats it. Nice stay in while listen here, buying a little bit of time for Darkmok as well. Shwimpy is going about to drop here. Not quite. Oh, goes down as we have Johanna delivering the final blow. Last Hope is a bit too late and misses the drag as well. Granit Gaming with another kill. And Fnatic all of a sudden on the retreat.
With the bottom trying being grabbed, Granit Gaming to try and get someone in the top lane. It will be a little bit difficult for them. It's going to take some time with Breeze slowing down Nande as well. They should be able to get some time for Shwimpy to get back, but that's still 25 seconds. Granit Gaming realizing, okay, it's going to be a bit difficult to get both these shrines. We'll grab the Bird Cave instead, possibly push out the bottom lane, but Granit Gaming finding some kills.
Yeah, again, Fnatic looks a bit off. They looked really good against Team Liquid. They lost the series in the end, but it was a fantastic series and a very close one at that. And Fnatic's coordination really impressed me, considering that they were playing for the first time with Last Hope in HGC. But now Last Hope comes in, he misses the drag, which is very uncharacteristic if you watched him play last week. And also, it's a bit late as Shwimpy is basically already dead by the time he arrives in the team fight. So, yeah, goes in a bit late here. Maybe a bit of a problem in communication. Now, Fnatic is still in a decent spot. It's still 18 versus 18, and it's pretty even on the map. But I still think it's worth pointing out, considering the ambitions that Fnatic have for this season.
Falstad, now alive, heads to the top here. Granite controlling Mercamp, just grouping up. This is what their composition does well. Runs the unit as 5. They just need to make sure they don't get punished too heavily by Fnatic. And so far, by grabbing night camps, keeping them wave pushed out, that gives them vision, slows down the global, gives them more opportunity to find those pokes. They're actually looking for Shwimpy again here in the top left, but he plays it safe.
Yep, 4 kills against 3 now. Season Marksman is completed. Giant Killer on 13, of course, complementing that. For Muradin, the healing static after the level 4 pickup is also going to be great. That's the synergy you're looking for with Muradin. It's the reason why you go for this build. And at this point now, it's all about kills and the global factors again. But in team fights also, we have now this auto attacks from Shwimpy. The problem is that in the last 2 fights, Falstad was the primary target. It died very early on.
It did seem like in that last fight too, he was just trying to squeeze a little bit too much out. Maybe could have left with the barrel roll a little bit quicker.
Nice dodge from Breeze here, by the way. Dodges the Bless Shield as he jumps out. So that's a cooldown burn by Granit Gaming already as we're going into the fight again. The Hakan Falstad at the top. And it's just really interesting to me that both of the teams are absolutely willing to just rotate the entire time. Fnatic is dodging a lot of the fights that they could take with the globals and instead are just trying to play the long game here. And again, it's going to help Falstad to get the extra damage output. And they're really just trying to decide this game through macro. We heard it from Shwimpy in the interview. They want to focus a bit more on macro play and not only think about team fights, since they already feel that they are really strong there. And I think that's what they're currently trying to do here. Win it all through macro play.
And I kind of want Granite Gaming to stop allowing this to happen and just force something. Whether it be on that bottom fort, moving for a keep wall, grab Giants, make Fnatic come to you. Now you have to be careful again. Mighty Gust is an issue and that's what they're being wary of. But right now, it feels like they're just kind of chasing Fnatic around. Even though I don't feel like Fnatic's getting fully what they want, I feel like Granite Gaming could be doing a little bit more here to be a nuisance.
At some point, Granite Gaming is also going to realize that. I mean, Fnatic is now moving into level 20, but that's a nice invade here. That was spotted by Hanzo a bit earlier, that Fnatic was aiming for it too, but now they're simply just moving in, going straight for that. Breeze is being attacked here. Here comes Decker. Nice, mouth with the silence, but Breeze should be fine. Pops the Avatar, the salvo does not do enough, jumps in deep and misses the Stormbolt. Rewind comes through, gets the second one in. Already 1 kill against Phoenix, and they're trying to make it a double. Hanzo goes down, and there's the triple, as Urel is dead.
Granite Gaming put everything they could into blowing up Breeze. The problem, Breeze had way too much good positioning for them to even get that kill. They dropped an arrow, they dropped a salvo, they dropped a Twilight Dream, and Breeze is like, okay, I just dropped my W, I'll heal a couple of times, I walk away, wait out for the entire silence. Oh wait, here's 22, and he hops back in. Well played there by Fnatic as they punish Granit for going all in.
Yeah, big problem was that Hanzo just used his own ult a bit too late. He was not in position when the entire engage started, but Breeze had time to go through the silence and then drop Avatar before the salvo hits him, and that's kept him alive. And then of course the 20 kicks in for them. He misses the first Storm Bolt, but thanks to Rewind he can just go in, set the second one up against Hanzo, and that's easy kills for Fnatic then. The level 20 advantage was all that they needed, and they are looking to core here already.
Yeah, with the kill on Raid Boss too, Johanna being on the front line, it'll be even more difficult for Granit Gaming to hold this. 5 more seconds and Hanzo will be up. They'll have a total of 3 coming in there, so maybe they'll have a chance, especially if they can get that level 20, but Breeze doing everything he can to slow down Nande. Arrow comes out, they go for fall stab, but the wind tunnel to keep them at bay.
Yeah, and the Dragon Eye is just way too strong at this point. We're 18 minutes in, 2 heroes down. There's the third. Phoenix falls, 10 kills against 3 at this point, and Fnatic takes game number 1 on Dragonshire.
Fnatic with the win. A little bit slower macro gameplay than we're not usually used to seeing this roster run up, but towards the end, they finally find the mistake they're able to capitalize on, and they capitalized well, getting 3 kills, grabbing a dragon, and pushing out that bottom lane to secure the takedown.
It was a bit of a weird game, because once that they went into a team fight, they basically destroyed Granit Gaming. But before that, I'm in that weird spot right now where I'm not sure if it was deliberate or not. If they just didn't feel it before and didn't see a fight, or if they intentionally said, guys, last week we struggled with macro game. As Shrimpy said, we need to try and stabilize our drafting a little bit, stabilize the macro aspects. This is a team that we can do that against, so let's try and use that in an HGC setup now, so that when we go up against stronger opponents, we have another arsenal that we can use against them. Might have been the thought process here, but the final fight, I mean, everything went well for them. They let Breeze survive, they just hit level 20. There's 19 on the side of Granit Gaming, and all of a sudden, through Li Ming and through the big engage that we had there, they just got kill after kill. And the big problem for Granit Gaming was also, they dropped everything on Breeze, and they didn't get the kill. So they had everything on cooldown, and at that point they're just looking, yeah guys, we're done, we have nothing, and they are just going to stomp us now.
Yeah, it is a valid strategy to wait for your opponent to make a mistake. In fact, let's go ahead and check out that replay and see what exactly really allowed for Murden to jump into the fight. So here we're in the top of corner. We just see Breeze miss a Stormbolt, so Darkmonk knocks Murden into the fight, and the call is made. All right, let's focus him down. Twilight Dream comes out, Salvo comes out as well, Dragon Arrow, but Breeze, he just kites all the way down, gets a couple of heals there from Smexy, and is able to turn the fight around, especially with 20 hitting, gets to rewind, and you see Shwimpy come from the corner, land the big hammering, get the auto attacks in, and Mene, once he gets those resets, he's going in.
Yeah, that was just way too much damage output at that moment, and it came down to Breeze surviving. It was a nice idea that we had from Granit Gaming, setting it up with Urel, just pushing him in, and the silence on Malfurion side was also on point. But the problem is, once the silence is over, you hit your avatar, you start clapping, and you're fine.
I think I actually would have preferred the arrow from Memencraft not to come onto Murden, but to put it on the 3 on the backside, so he didn't have any support, and then they focused down Murden, but putting it all into one area allowed for Smexy just keep tossing those potions and keep him alive. Let's go to game number 2 and get ready for our second battleground as we continue throughout this best of 5 series. Tombless Battle Queen will be the match.